All right, so thank you for your response. So as you know, today we have your FYP1 March 2021 research proposal presentation. All right, so before we start the presentation, so I just want to remind all of you, this is your tentative. Okay, number one, we will started by Aaron. Okay, start from 10:15 and followed by Rashmika 10:30 and Saroshan 10:45 and Numi 11 a.m. Salini 11:15 a.m. Suraj 11:30, Said 11:45 and Shalini at 12. So please remember your time section, okay? And we will follow this sequence starting from Aaron and end by Salini. Okay, so there is a few rules and regulations you need to follow. For your information, this presentation will be done by your recorded version, okay? Your recorded video version. So I will play the video and it will take up to 10 minutes for each video. So after that, you need to be live on the session for your Q question and answer for your question and answer session. So it will be examined by the examiners. So the time allocated around 5 minutes. Maximum is 5 minutes. All right. So for example, after we completed for Aaron, okay, when we have completed Aaron at 10:15 until 10:25. At 10:25, we have remaining 5 minutes. So the 5 minutes will be the Q&A by the examiners. Okay. Is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear, sir.
Yes.
All right. Thank.
Sir,
Yeah.
yes, sir. So the examiners are the ones that have been allocated to us here, and not the other examiners, right, sir? Just the ones that have been
Yes.
allocated to us. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. We have one examiners and one from your FYP coordinator. Okay. So that's mean you will have two examiners. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. So
sir.
right. All right. Okay. I think now already 10:15, so we can start the session now. Are you ready, Aaron?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No need to be live. After your presentation, you need to be live, and please prepare your slide. Okay. Maybe there is some question from your slide, and also the question from your report. Okay. Please be prepared. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Ms. Aaron, and today I'm going to be talking about my final year project, which I'll be doing a voice control robot using Arduino. So my supervisor is Dr. Ahmad Anwar Zainuddin, and I've prepared the slides as an introduction to it. So first we'll go through the contents. Research background is the first, which is kind of the introduction. Then we have the problem statement, objectives, main components, literature review, costs, and also the conclusion. Okay, so first we go through the introduction. So what my project is about, it's a car which you can control using your smartphone. You can control using your smartphone, which works, it works with speech recognition. So when you say move forward, let's say the car will move forward. So with that knowledge, let's get into this. So as we know, now smartphone is becoming very popular. Everyone is using it. It's like a must need item. So I'll be using Bluetooth method for the communication part, which I'll be using speech recognition. So speech recognition, it helps the user to perform like many tasks and all. You can multitask with it, so you can concentrate on other stuff while giving comment to the machine. So a robot, just by talking to it, you can simply operate it, and you can also improve the efficiency of working with the robot. Okay, so robotic is like one of the fastest growing technology in the science field. It's being used everywhere in a car mode or in other way, like basic robot and such on. So since this robotics is becoming very vast and becoming very popular, you need to control it accurately and efficiently. So in my project, I'll be making a robot car which can move in four possible directions. The first one is moving forward, backward. It can also turn left and right, and it can stop when it senses an obstacle. Okay. Next, we get to the problem statement. So, like I said, we've been using technology for a very long time, and it helps us in our daily life. So, but we have yet to acknowledge some issues, like for people to get into a place that is incapable of having humans. So, like some of these places are like toxic areas, or maybe in a fire, or places which have high radiation or small holes that human can't fit into. Okay, so my project's objective is to build a robotic car which uses voice commands through a smartphone, which can be controlled using the voice command. Next, I'll have to develop code writing of robotic car, which moves the robot forward, backward, turn left, or also right. And the final one is to implement coordination of robotic car control unit with using the Bluetooth gadget and wireless system. Okay, so some of the main components I have are Arduino Uno, which is like the motherboard of it, the robot. And then we have HC05 serial Bluetooth, which is the bridge between controlling the car and using a smartphone. And then we have the L293D motor driver shield, which it's used to control all the DC motors and also the servo motor. Then we have TT gear motor, which is basically like DC motor. It can control all the wheels. And then finally we have servo motor, which is used to rotate. You can use it to rotate in any degree you like. Then we have ultrasonic sensor, which is used to detect the distance of an object, it will be placed at the front of the robot to check there's any obstacle. And then there's IR sensor, which will be placed at the back of the robot to check if like when you're moving backwards and if there's any obstacle. Okay, I have given my literature review here. So I'll just go through the important things here. So the first one is voice activation and control to improve the human-robot interactions with IoT perspectives. So the important thing that I find here is first, I'll just go through limitations first. So for this for this research paper, the speaker recognition area cover only the crucial parts that are mostly related to their project. So it's not fully covered. They only covered half of the part which they can find. And then for the next one is voice command integration for robot control. So for this, they'll be using a mobile robot, which is to extend the ROS adaptability. So the important finding here is the platform can play a very important role in human and robot interaction. Next, we'll go to voice recognition robot control using Android device. So this project is very similar to mine. So one important thing that I found here is the method is an effective way of simple task through experiment of grasping and reaching, which means you have to keep testing the robot until it gets the correct data. Then we have operating a robot by non-verbal noise based on ranges of format, which means you're using your vocal cords to test the robot, not only your voice. So the important part of this is the connection made between the robot and human must be perfect to have a detailed understanding, and the robot can actually react to what you're trying to say to it. Next, we have the voice control platform of mobile robot through ROS. So ROS means, I've said it before also, so ROS means um, robot operating system. So for this, one thing they have done that I found it important is that the three persons with different quality of English speaking styles, they have chosen them and they've done the testing with them. Next, I'll go to the cost of the project. So as you can see, I've given you all the hardware and software that has to be used, like the total, the full hardware and software. So for software, we only have Arduino IDE and Arduino Bluetooth controller. Then for hardware, we have the TT gear motor, jumper cables, body frame, all of this. So the total amount will be around 79 ringgit and 30 cents. So in conclusion, the voice control robot that is can be controlled via a smartphone, which moves forward, backward, can turn left and right, and it has two obstacles sensor. So this robot will work with the help of Bluetooth, which is a HC05, will act as a bridge between the robot and also your phone controller through your smartphone. Then finally, this robot using the speech recognition is very easy to use and it can really help people. So that's all I like to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Aaron. So now we move to the Q&A. So Dr. Rohida, you can start the Q&A now.
Hi, Adrian.
Good morning, Miss.
Morning. I would like to know your objective here. I didn't get your objective here to model to model out robotic and to implement coordination. Can you elaborate on that?
Uh,
What
sorry,
do you
Miss.
mean by to model? To model a robotic car remotely. What do you mean by model? Modeling
To
or
make
hmm.
I basically mean my to make the actual robot, Miss.
Make the robot?
Miss, can you hear?
Yeah. Get you. To implement coordination, that one, what does it mean by to implement coordination?
Uh, that means I was trying to tell that to use the Bluetooth to coordinate the robot to move in all the four possible directions.
Okay. Actually, I didn't get your methodology here. Here you are saying that you are control the robotic car, right?
Yes, Miss.
Control the robotic car, as I know, to my understanding, you are control your robotic car using the speech, right?
Yeah, yes, Miss.
Then how do you know in what condition your robotic car? I mean, how do you can control when you want to give the direction, let's say backward or forward? How do you know without using any camera?
Uh, Sorry, Miss. Can you repeat the last one?
Let's
How
say,
do
for
you,
example, you can control your robotic car by using camera, right? From the camera, you can see the movement of your car.
no,
Say,
Miss.
sorry?
Not camera, Miss.
No, I mean, for example,
Oh, okay,
now
Miss.
you want to coordinate your car, right? Robotic car. How do you can coordinate the robotic car?
It's using the Bluetooth means so in the phone itself it has the speech recognition system. So I have to download an app which is called the hold on a minute.
In which application that you use this robotic car actually?
Uh, Means what do you mean by which application?
You will place the robotic car in where you
Okay,
where you
so first I'll build the robotic armies. Then after I've put in all the hardware and all, I have to use my phone, which is using there's an app called Arduino Bluetooth controller. Then when I connect the robot via Bluetooth using the Bluetooth module, then I have to speak to my phone. So the robot will just can be placed anywhere. So I just have to speak through my phone. So if I say, let's say, move forward, the robot using the speech recognition, the phone will detect it and it will send over the data to the Arduino. So then the robot will know whether to move forward or backward.
here your problem statement one, you will place your robotic car in toxic places, right?
Yeah, yes, miss.
Toxic places or small hole. If small hole you cannot see in the small hole, then how do you want to control the robotic car? That what I mean.
Miss, actually, I was just trying to tell that maybe like some places where human cannot go to, miss. That's what I was trying to say. doesn't necessarily have to be a small hole or anything, but then maybe if like the person knows the place, then they can just use the robot to go through the place.
So it's not telling with your problem statement here. Okay.
Just okay, miss.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you. I think that's all. Question for me.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rohila.
Thank you,
All right,
miss.
Aaron, please please remind all the notes from the examiners, and please do the correction, okay, for your reports. Okay. And next, I would like to comment a little bit. I would like to comment your presentation. Okay, for your presentation, what I observe is your slides are too wordy. Too wordy means
Too much.
everything is, yes, too much words. And also no figures. No figures means that makes your presentation very boring. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so the next mission, I mean next evaluation, so I want to remind all my students, okay, please make it your slide very nice. Okay, make it your word very less than to the figures. So that means you should have more figures. More figures. Make it your slide interesting. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
sir.
All right. Okay. And next, I think yeah, you can move to the next person. So thank you very much, Aaron.
Okay, sir.
So Rashmika, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Rashmikan Pereira, BC 7th semester. This is my FYP1 research proposal. My supervisor is Mr. Satyadev, and coordinator is Dr. Ahmad Anwar, and my examiner is Fatima Zaki. Uh, my project title is Design and Model of Drone-Guided Self-Deployable Unmanned Surface Lifeguard Robot using Arduino and Raspberry Pi. Um, so this is my content, and uh, it contains basic structure of the report itself. Then for my abstract, I have come up with the statistics that I fetched from WHO websites. They have identified drowning as the third leading cause of death in the world, cause which causes inefficient lifeguard skills, insufficient safety precautions, and stubborn bathers' attitude and improper safety attire. So, in order to overcome those kind of situation that put people into fatal conditions, I have come up with a solution to design a drone-guided USV unmanned surface vehicle with the help of Arduino and Raspberry Pi, which can replace human lifeguards while significantly reducing the drowning causes injuries and deaths. So research background, my research background contains the introduction. I have mentioned the statistics that accounting for 7% total injuries related to deaths per year caused by the drowning accidents. Usually drowning happens when person spending extended period of time near large bodies of water. These conditions are critical to monitor by human lifeguards as well as the fellow swimmers, because it's really hard to spot drowning or distressed person in the water from far over the shore. Therefore, I have come up with two solutions combined, uh, because the main reason that we should not use lifeguards as the reason we should reduce using lifeguards, the human lifeguards, as much as possible, due to the reason that when a lifeguard tries to save another drowning person, that person will the lifeguard will putting himself in the danger as well. Um, and another reasons are natural phenomena such as flood, tsunami, and ocean sea current uh, are the high risk factors that the lifeguard should not risk their life into. So the problem statement, according to the observation, that employing one or many lifeguards to oversee the activities in water sports venues do not completely help to put the end of the drowning, because it's a large area that you cannot cover with a number of lifeguards, and it highly costs it costs in employment of lifeguards and directing burdening the visitors and the owners of water sports venue, and unable to view the activities of bathers as lifeguard has only 2D vision from the shore. So with the sunset or sunrise, it makes it really hard to locate offshore bathers, whether they are in distress or whether they are in help in need. Um, so those are the problem statements that I'm trying to overcome. Then hypothesis: the drones can be used in a manner that plug and play, that which make it simpler for even a non-technical person to deploy the drone and locate a drowning or distressed person in the water. And the life buoy, uh, the USV contains a life buoy, will go to the guided mark coordinates and deploy the life buoy and wait for the wait for the help from the shore. And for the objectives, I have come up with to design and develop RC guided drone with camera which has enabled GPS, to design and develop drone guided raft which can carry life buoy, uh, to design and develop a life buoy that can inflate at the deployment using controller or the drone's command, to build the all-in-one communication system for drone, USV, and deployable mechanism, which is the important factor that should be simple enough to operate even for a non-technical person during an event. So scope of study, key target is to build unmanned lifeguard system which perform under critical conditions, as I mentioned, those kind of national phenomena that humans cannot risk going into. So research questions I have identified. I have identified few research questions. Uh, what is the current drowning rate worldwide? How does the USV work on the sea? What is the mechanism used to deploy lifebuoy through USV? How possible can the monitored USV replace human lifeguards? How the USV and drone should be communicating through single channel? For my literature review, I came up with some research papers which covers the area of water safety and waypoint area, and those equipments that they have used during the experiments are aligned with my research as well. So they have used Raspberry Pi, computer vision, cloud computing, Internet of Things, and path following algorithms that which I have taken into consideration when I use guiding system using GPS. So we call it waypoint follower or waypoint guided missions. So and flight controllers and GPS transmitters are used in these research papers that which will help me to prepare my research paper as well as my project. And the drowning management and prevention, to identify what are the current solutions and what are the disadvantages of those current solutions, to make me understand what is the purpose of having creating this project. And design navigation and guidance and control system for unmanned surface vehicle for environmental monitoring. So current monitoring system, I'm trying to understand what are the current monitoring system that used to monitor environmental pollution and those kind of areas. So maybe there could be implementation that I can merge those current existing projects with my project. Uh, Another research paper I came across with is person identification from drones by human insights from cognitive physiology, psychology, where I can I can come up with some algorithms to differentiate people in the water from the objectives, because uh, in sports areas there could be many objects floating on the water, so it's important to identify a drowning person uh, from a normal object. Then another mostly related article or mostly related journal I found is design and development of an interactive autonomous monitoring and surveillance system, um, surveillance drones. That one also monitoring and that one also covering monitoring and surveillance using drones. And another uh, important journal is development of lifeguard assist drone for coastal search and rescue. So these are this research paper address the currently used drone systems to save used for search and rescue uh, operations. But the drawback here is it can only carry one life buoy. I'll be explaining in my next presentation regarding what is the novelty gap in this research paper and mine. So methodology, the drone flight control system should be customized in a way that I can directly access from another Raspberry Pi or Arduino command central. So in order to communicate with the USB that I'm preparing, and it should be able to send out GPS coordinates. Then unmanned surface vehicle should be able to receive transmitted GPS coordinates from drone and guide itself to the location into the water, and it should be able to deploy itself. So the raft should have two modes, autonomous navigation and manual navigation. So this is the block diagram of the system, the whole system, including USV and the drone. And this is the block diagram of drone itself and the block diagram of communication system where the USV and the human interaction and the drone is connected. This is my Gantt chart for the proposal, my FYP research, and this is the expected results that the drone should be able to locate and identify a person with the help of human control, and as well as the USV should follow the given GPS coordinates signals. These are my references, and that's all for my FYP research proposal presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rashmika. Okay, so now the Q&A from the examiner, Dr. Fatima. You can start now.
Hi, good morning, Aaron. Okay, let's go to your problem statement. What is actually your problem statement? Is about replacing. You want to replace human with drone, right?
I want to replace human lifeguards on swimming areas and replace it with drone guided USVs.
Okay. So according to your objective, so here your drone is as surveillance or just to go and save.
It can be used in different ways, maybe the surveillance or whenever the alert is there, then it can launch and initiate the operation.
So that means you will have two system, right? So one is your drone, and when something happen, you will launch the USV. Is it? Is my
Exactly, yes.
understanding okay? Okay. So going to your research question. Okay, so your research question should actually guide you in doing your research. All right. So as you go through all your research question, you will have to answer this while doing your development. So for this one, the first one, what is the current drowning rate worldwide? So I think you can replace this with something more related to your development. Okay, so you don't have to
Okay.
answer this in order to progress with your research.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
So for
Sure.
2 to 5 is okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Rashmi.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Fatima. Okay, Rashmika, I have a few questions, okay, regarding your objectives.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is your objective. Your objective have 4 points. Number one, to design and develop RC. And second one, to design and develop drone. And the third one, to design and develop a love boy. So from my understanding, okay, so if you want to design, okay, the word design means that you need to design something from scratch, from zero. You should make
Yes.
a study and you should make an evaluation. Okay, what is the parameter? What is the components need to be designed? Okay, need to be designed
Okay.
starting from zero. So I
Yeah.
think these objectives are very heavy. Okay, and from my understanding also, this is not suitable for FYP. Okay, maybe it's good for master or PhD.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, so I just want to advise. Okay, if you plan to do this, okay, it's okay, no problem, because this is your project. But if you want to reduce the burden, okay, the burden of this work, so you can try to simplify little bit your projects. Maybe you can put to implement or to develop. I think develop is too general. Okay, maybe you can put something like more simple. Okay, more simple. Okay, to help you to reduce your weight in this FYP. Okay, I
Okay.
think you need just to remove the word design. Design means that you can use for to design and develop your drone, for example. Okay, but for the RC and life boy, so I think you can put to implement or to model or to study. Okay, I know that
Okay.
you can do like this, you can do like all the objective, but in term of the academic writing, so in term of your reports, so I think you can try to reduce a little bit. Okay,
Okay. Understood, sir.
okay, good. I think
Okay.
yes,
Thank you.
from overall, I think your presentation is very good. Okay, consists of a lot of figures. This is the good example, guys. All student. Okay, all student. Because the main problem of the student, okay, they don't know how to produce a very good presentation. Okay, so this is the example. Even though there are some wordy, okay, here and there, and you can see in this introduction, okay, problem statement, I think you can remove, okay, you can reduce the word, okay, you can reduce the word and put some of the yes, you have the figures, but I mean related, you should put figures related to your writing, and then you can describe. Okay, because I don't want you to read during your presentation. Okay, obviously. All right, so I understood that this is the common problem for all the presenter. But I think try to make it interesting and make your audience love to show your to what to watch your presentation. Okay, so I think that's all for Rashmika.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, now we move to solution. Are you ready, solution?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I will present my final year project 1 research proposal. To start with, I send my greetings to my supervisor, Mr. SVPK Setadevu, my coordinator, Dr. Ahmad Anwar Zanuddin. My name is Sarushan Purapa, a student at Manipal International University and the 4th year of Bachelor of Computer Engineering. My project will be about the design and development of a small CNC foam cutting machine using Arduino Uno. Okay. As you can see on the right, a 3D model of how I want to build and develop my machine. The content that will be discussed in this paper, in this project, in this presentation number 6, the abstract, the introduction, the problem statement, the objectives, a hypothesis, the scope of study, a research question, literature reviews, methodology, flowchart, mechanical components, electrical components, and conclusion. For the abstract, as we know, with a rapid evolution of technology nowadays, the usage of CNC, computer numerical control, cutting machines are increasing day by day in the industries. Every industry is trying to manufacture a low-cost CNC to be able to decrease the cost and complexity of some machines. This project deals with a design and development of a CNC cutting machine, which will be powered using Arduino Uno. So we're trying, this machine will be designed mainly to cut foam, but can also cut soft materials such as plastic or soft rubber. Okay, so as we can, as I said, the machine will be powered by Arduino Uno, composed of Arduino shield and some DC converter, stepper drivers, and stepper motors. As we can see, we will see forward. And also, G-code will be used to set a footpath, which will be uploaded in the Arduino to set a footpath, I must say, for the machine. The microcontroller used in this proposed project, as we said, Arduino Uno, it's because it has mainly a lot of advantages. For example, Arduino Uno is very cheap. It is well suited for different kind of operation, and it can incorporate many kind of different kinds of libraries. Okay, so with evolution of the technology, with a new industrial revolution of 4.0, we are trying to change the way humans communicate and the way they live. Okay, so this project also is based, is going along with industrial revolution 4.0. So the project will be composed of temperature sensors, will be composed of maybe speedometers also, to make the project become, a machine become smart, to be able to monitor the temperature, monitor the speed at which the axes are moving. Okay, so the machine will also be, as I said before, some will use G-code, which you also know geometry code, which will set a footpath, set a pathway where to for machine to start cutting, where to move, in which direction to move. Let's talk about the problem statement. The problem statement, as you can see for this machine, it will be big, it will be quite big and difficult to move without disassembling all parts. Some other program statement that I think we can also put is that the machine has only 3 axes, x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis, which limits the type of outcomes, the types of end product we can obtain. Okay, so some over complex type of design might need some other kinds of axes to be added. Also, the GRLB, in terms of GRLB, in terms of G-code, it will have to be amended every time based on our design, based on the end product that we want to obtain. Okay, so this was our problem statement. The objective is to be able to design and develop a CNC machine with a resistive wire, which will be known, we use as a hot wire to cut and shape the form, to be able to connect all the components, the stepper motor, the sensors, etc., to be able to control and measure the temperature of a resistive wire using the stepper drivers, the DC to DC converter, and temperature sensor or thermocouple, and to be able to upload the G-code into the Arduino board. Okay, so for our hypothesis here, what we can say, the voltage will be our independent variable, as our voltage will be varied using the DC to DC converter. So as we will be varying the voltage, and it doesn't depend on anything. So the voltage will be our independent variable, and here the independent variable will be the current and temperature. So as we increase voltage, temperature of a resistive wire, of a hot wire will increase, more current will flow, and the temperature will increase, and the resistance will be kept constant. The scope of study, main intention of this project to be able to develop a CNC machine, which will be able to perform cutting and shaping of object, and be able to get the G-code from open source software such as Inkjo. Research question that will be asked is, what amount of voltage will be required to reach the optimal temperature to provide a good cutting of the foam materials? How to program the stepper drivers, the DC to DC converters so they can control the temperature? How to upload and how to program the G-code? to mold and cut more complex designs. And what can be done to prevent the spring from losing its elasticity? The spring, as you know, will be used to hold the hot wire. In terms of literature review, we will talk about the top 5. The first one is Arduino-based CNC machine, which is designed to cut soft wood, plastic, and foam by Mr. Panchal, Vajja, Patel, and Padya in 2017. A second paper is about a flexible automated foam cutting system by Mr. Joani, Hamad, and Patseri in 1996. The third one is a CNC milling machine for the manufacturing of die casting, so by K. Reddy and R. Reddy in 2013. The fourth one is design and development of a CNC-based laser engraver by Jaya Prasad and all. And the fifth one is the development of a high-speed CNC cutting machine using linear motor by Gordon and Hillary in 2003. Talking about the methodology, the design and development of a smart CNC cutting machine will involve 4 stages. Okay, so the first stage will be to design the models, the mechanical components, and the electrical circuit using Fusion 360 and Tinkercad respectively. Okay, so the second stage will be to list the components which will be able to use to construct the mechanical part and the electrical circuit. The third stage will be to assemble all the components and build the machine and also the circuit. And the fourth stage will be to test the machine and try some cutting and try to do the shaping. This is a flowchart that we are going to use. So the code that we are going to use to go through our 4 stages just discussed previously. Okay, so we are first, based on the literature review, we found our objective and research question, our hypothesis, our methodology, and the Gantt chart. And then afterwards, we start designing the mechanical part, designing the electrical circuit. Okay, and we select our mechanical part, select the electrical component which we use to assemble them. And then we write and upload the code in the Arduino. And then we test and try the molding. Okay, this is based on the mechanical components. Some other component which we use is based on the isometric view of a mechanical part, which is designed using Fusion 360. So T-slot aluminum profiles, which is easy to use, no need to drill. The 10mm rail rods, 10 T-slot profile corner brackets, M5 nuts, linear bearing, GT2 bed, tooth pulley, idler pulley, bearings, spacer nut, spring assortment set, and resistance wire. This electrical component, based on the component, we need a stepper motor, NEMA 70, FO988 stepper driver, Arduino DC-DC converter, limit switch, DC power supply, Arduino CNC shield, which will turn the Arduino into a CNC controller, and the temperature sensor. And this is the circuit that we use to what we want to build, and this circuit, which is a model based on from Tinkercad. To conclude, we can say the proposed system as seen above involve the design and development of a smart CNC machine, which is powered by Arduino board and which is equipped with CNC shield. And in this research proposal presented, literature review was written, and also to compare it from the proposed system and see if similar, to compare the proposed system, I must say, with similar project. And to conclude, it can be concluded that most of the projects seen from in the literature reviews uses lasers, engravers, uses some milling machines to be able to cut and shape the materials, which are quite difficult, which increases machine complexity, which increases the cost of the whole building process. So this is why we want to build this CNC machine, which will be way cheaper and easier to use to reduce the machine complexity in a whole. Okay, and also make it smart to be able to work along the Industrial Revolution 4.0 using the temperature sensors and speedometer, etc., etc. So Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, my coordinator. Thank you, my supervisor and the examiner, Mr. Tachana Modi.
Thank you, Solution. So yes, Mr. Tanchana, you can start your Q&A.
Right. Good morning. Morning.
Hello, sir.
And good morning to what's the pronounce his name? Sarushan, correct?
Yes.
Sarushan. Okay. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation and the topic itself. Okay, something which is more technical part, mechanical side. Okay. I have a few questions, so it's not I'm going to put a kind of something pressure on you, but just want to make sure some a few parts to be clear. Okay. First, can you go to your what you call it as a literature review, the last from 2019 one. Can you go to your literature review?
Okay, you can share the slide. Okay, Solution.
Yes, I'm sharing my screen now.
Okay.
Okay. On 2019, right? The last one. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I believe you gone through the articles and a few materials before you design or develop the title. Okay, correct. So
Yes.
just want to know one line for difference. Okay, what not differences are something which is you are going to emphasize what kind of contribution from your side compared to this author. Okay, automated CNC machine. So what is the differences? What are you going to be what do you call imposed or your idea compared to this author?
This one is in the PCB drawings.
Mhm.
My machine, what I want to develop is based on foam cutting.
Okay. So that one line of a difference. This is the form cutting. That is manual. This is your auto. Something is it sounds right. Correct or not?
It's completely different. This machine, the one which is written here is completely different with the one I'm doing.
Okay. What would be the advantages from your side?
Uh, my machine is like I want to design a foam cutting. I want to like shape doing like I'll be able to like do shapes with based on forms which will be designed on a software.
Okay. So this is more on. Am I correct? Is it more on 3D printing or something? Correct or not?
Yeah, yes, based on maybe it will be like 2D or 3D printings.
3D printing. So okay. I just want to check because you need to do something which is not same like what the latest 2019 author did. So I just want to know from your side what would be the first advantages you pull up from the earlier previous author. Okay, okay, good. Something which you said is what do you call automatic, and then look at the measurement of the pressure, and then the cut sizing, everything, which is good. Okay, can you go back to your what do you call objective? Okay, when I gone through your objective, your objective is looks okay, but I have a few what you call consideration. The five objective is too technical. You get my point, Anna?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's too technical. Okay. If it's not
Sorry, sir. What do you mean by technical?
technical means something which is more into the practical side. Okay, how you're going to do your in detail about the project. Okay. So what I suggest, okay, from the five objectives, you have to rephrase the few sentences. For example, you have to come up one or two objective, which is general one. For example, the last one you said cut the shape form based on the design created open source software. Okay, which is you are
Yeah.
mentioning, which is the overall general one, correct or not? Okay. So
Yes.
I would like to give you some space, what you call space to rephrase certain objective which is more a little bit general one. Okay, for example, three you put it too technical, another two you can put it as a general, the overall about the system. Okay, or overall about the project or something. Okay,
Okay, sir. Yeah.
okay, that one. Another one, uh what you call that, to be able to design, to be able, right? So might you can rephrase certain things like to be determined, or what you call, to consider, to understanding, kind of that. Okay, you can rephrase certain statements over there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And then the first one, what would be the measurement? Is there any measurement site to be able to design and develop CNC machine which is required specialized in the cutting and shaping the form? So what would be the measurement? How are you going to measure on the first objective? Are you going to develop the complete, I mean, you're going to show up the complete design at the end on your FYP?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, that means the image I seen before, the blue color, that's a design you're going to show, the final output, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so if first objective, how are we going to measure on the part, first objective?
So, so later, based on some calculation, based data, based on the materials that I'll buy. So when I will get the measurement to make all of them work together.
No. What my point is, measurement means what? How you going to evaluate your first objective? Not that common measurement. How you going to evaluate your first objective? Are you going to evaluate based on the model, or going to evaluate based on the inputs or parameters? What kind of that?
Based on the models.
Based on your model.
Yeah.
So is it one model or two types of model? One.
One model. One more.
Okay, and then I have one more, the last questions to discuss. It's basically more on what do you call it, on your methodology. Okay, you say some Fusion 360, right? Something
Yes.
software.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I would recommend. Can you use that in your objective also? That's something which is, you can tell, right? But that's my objective to use to, kind of software you can put under the objective part. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Just consider on that part as well. Okay, that's all from myself, and good luck. And it's been very interesting, what they call, field, and be challenging as well, because two technical and mechanical side, but it works. It is wonderful. Okay, it works wonderful. I hope it will work. Don't worry. All right. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tachana. Okay, Solution, can you open back your objective? Please share your screen.
You can see my screen right now, right?
I cannot see your screen.
Okay. Now, sir, can you?
Okay, yes. All right, I just want to remind to all my students, okay, objective. If you want to write for your objective, okay, please do not use to be able. To be able is not very clear. To be able means that something like you want to make it on, or to make it, you are not sure, okay, whether you want to do this ability or capability. So that's mean that this sentence showing not very clear uh, definition. All right, so I suggest you please just straightforward to your objective, to design and to connect or to control, but you should put some words, okay, some of the taxonomy words, okay, taxonomy words, something like to evaluate, to measure, okay, or something like very clear definition, okay, very clear definition in terms of the evaluation, because this is the academic writing and also the project FYP, so everything should be on the correct part. Also, if you want to plan to write scientific papers or scientific reports, so everything should be correct. Your writing style should be correct. Okay? Is it clear or not, guys?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. I think this is one of the good project also. So all the best to you, Mr. Solution.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. So next we move on to next presenter. So the next presenter will be Numi. So Numi, are you ready?
Yes, sir. My name is Numi Jusad, and the topic that I've chosen for my final year project is modeling an IoT-based car parking management system using ESP8266 and IR sensors. These are the topics that will be covered during my presentation. I will start with the abstract. In today's world, particularly in modern cities, car parking has become a major issue. Finding a free parking spot is becoming increasingly difficult as the number of vehicles on the road increases. This problem worsens particularly during peak hours and on weekends. As a result, I propose the topic modeling an IoT-based car parking management system to address these issues. So moving on to the introduction, I will explain how the system works. Okay, so basically this system detects whether parking spaces are occupied or not by using infrared sensors. This system displays the number of available parking spaces and syncs the data with the cloud server. This allows users to search for available parking spaces online from any location and enjoy hassle-free parking. As a result, the system solves the parking problem for cities while providing users with an efficient IoT-based parking management system. Here I have also included the block diagram of this system. Next would be the hardware components used to create this system. So we have the IR sensors, DC motors, and Mega 8 microcontroller, or also known as AVR microcontroller, LCD, Node MCU, ESP8266 Wi-Fi module. Next is the software specification. Firstly, we have the Arduino IDE. Arduino IDE is a compiler that converts the Arduino codes written into machine language and sends them to the Arduino hardware to get the output. This software also functions as a platform for editing the code that will be uploaded to the microcontroller. The system will be created using the C programming language. Moving on, the IoT Gecko platform. So this IoT Gecko platform is a free platform for developing IoT systems. It provides an efficient GUI building platform to aid in the processing and displaying parameters by hardware devices. Problem statement. Cars have become an essential component of journey mobility in this era. As the population grows, so does the number of vehicles, resulting in several new issues. One major issue would be a lack of parking spaces. Next, many parking lots require drivers to use their initiative to find an empty parking lot in which to park their vehicles. When compared to working days, the parking problem worsens during peak hours and on school holidays. Another issue is that more fuel is consumed while driving around parking lots looking for a free spot, resulting in higher carbon dioxide emissions. Finally, poor planning by developers may be a contributing factor also to the lack of parking spaces. Hypothesis, what is expected here is for the system to detect any available parking space using the infrared sensor. If a vehicle arrives at both the entrance and exit gates, the IR sensors should detect it. DC motors serves as gate openers. The key point here is that the system should only open the gate when there is a parking space available. Following that, the system should be able to update the number of available parking spaces on the cloud server accordingly and allow users to search for available parking spaces online. The research questions are, can the system help to solve the parking problem? Next, what can be the possible challenges that can be encountered during the modeling of the car parking system? what are the other improvements applicable to enhance the parking system, and finally, what sensors are used in the implementation of a smart parking solution. Literature review. For the time being, I have chosen 5 papers for the, I've chosen 5 papers from the year 2018 till 2020. According to Ramesha from the year 2020, the users will be able to find out about the availability of parking spaces before arriving at the venue, saving their time spent looking for an empty space. According to the second research paper, the parking system is based on reservations, and each user is assigned a unique OTP in order to occupy their own reserved slot. The third paper utilizes a LoRa transmitter and a single receiver to transmit data to the cloud using the Wi-Fi protocol. Next, it was discovered that the use of a QR code during a reservation to store information such as parking charges and slot availability for both the user and the provider. Finally, using ultrasonic sensor, the system detects the presence of a vehicle, and after making a reservation through the mobile app, parking fees can be paid via PayPal. The research objectives, the first research objectives will be to develop a prototype of a car parking management system using a microcontroller and sensors connected to a cloud server via IoT technologies. Next, to design a car parking system that provides information on empty parking spaces. And finally, to test and evaluate the effectiveness of a car parking management system using IoT. Methodology. The car parking management system is an innovative system that can be applied to any parking lot. It uses infrared sensors to keep track of available parking spaces. The entry and exit of the parking space are equipped with the infrared sensor, which automate the door operation. This system is completely automated and keeps track of available and non-vacant parking spaces, as well as preventing any additional vehicle entry if the parking space is full. The parking system is also accessible via the Internet of Things. The user can keep track of available parking spaces via IoT by simply connecting to the Internet. So I've also included the flowchart of the system and the flowchart of the research activities. So when the driver opens the web page, he or she should be able to see whether the parking slot is available or not. And if it is yes, then the driver can park the car. If it is no, then the driver has to keep searching for an available parking spot. And then if the car is already parked, then the green LED will get off, and the web page will update saying that there is no more available parking space. And if the car is not yet parked, the green LED will be still on, and the web page will show there is still parking space. The flowchart of the research activities, we will start with the literature review, and then designing and testing of the sensors will take place. After the stimulation of sensor, design and check the data on IoT GetCo platform will be taking place, and then evaluation of the system. Next, we have to select the best design, and we also need to know whether it produced the desired output. If it is no, then optimization has to take place. If yes, and then we can come up with the final prototype and the final report. These are my references, and that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nomi. So I would like to call Dr. Rohila for the Q&A.
Hi, Nomi. Um, I have few questions on your proposal here. Your title is modeling, right? Modeling IoT base. But based
Yes.
on your
Model.
modeling, which means you, to my knowledge, is something that you are involved with the mathematical model or algorithm. Perhaps you will rephrase the title here.
What I meant is developing the prototype of the IoT-based car parking management system.
Sorry, can you look at on the objective here? Your objective here to test, right? Yes. How do you want to test your system here?
So basically, once I have built the prototype, I want to check whether the system is working properly or not, and then it has to update the status of the available parking spaces on the IoT Gecko website, so that the drivers wants to go to that particular parking spot can check. So if
Then
there
how,
is
how do you want to test? How do you evaluate the effectiveness? Is there any measurement that you will perform?
um, no.
No. Okay, the last one, to test and
Okay.
evaluate the effectiveness of the car parking management system using IoT. So it based on the observation.
Yeah, it is based on my observation if it is really if the system really works or not.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
All right. Then can you explain me on the flow chart of the system here? Driver opens the web page. That means your system here will involved with the apps, any apps, or how?
No, I have thought of using that IoT Gecko platform. It's a website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
So they will have the web page, right? So to
Yeah,
access.
so yes, which we have to create the layout for this particular car parking management system, so that the drivers or the users can check first before going to the particular parking lot.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's all for me.
Thank you, doctor.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rahila. All right. Okay, just a little bit comment from me for your research objective. Okay, Numi. Okay, I think your research objective is okay. Okay, it's okay, but maybe you should try to rephrase. Okay, to make it more clear. All right. For
Oh,
example, okay, number one, to test and evaluate the effectiveness. So that's mean, I think you just select one word only. To evaluate is okay. Because test and evaluate is the same.
okay,
Same
okay,
definition. Alright. And next you
okay,
want to design a car parking. Okay, as I mentioned before, design means that you are trying to do from the scratch. Okay, you want to design a car parking system. So I think based on what I understood from your project, you are not designing. Okay, you are not designing a parking system. Okay, maybe you can put to implement or to model. Okay.
all right, sir. To
Okay.
implement. Okay.
All right. And next, and to develop a prototype. To develop prototype also is not a good word. To develop. Develop meaning that you need to find the chronological of your your project, starting from same like a design. But to simplify your sentence here, I think you can change develop to what, to model maybe, or to study. Okay, to
Okay.
study. maybe you need to put some of the literature review for your prototype. Okay, maybe you can compare the design from the previous work. All right, and you can put your latest project compared to others. So maybe you can put your advantage, your unique advantage to the others work.
Alright,
Okay, it's just my comment, but it's up to you and your supervisor how to change it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, that's all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, welcome. All right, so next we move on to Salini. Are you ready, Salini?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. So today I'm talking about, this is my project, which is IoT-based patient's health monitoring system using Raspberry Pi. So these are my contents where I'll be giving a brief introduction. So in the abstract here, I've talked about how health is a critical factor in today's world. Fighting COVID is another factor, but like going to the hospital and facing the doctors and stuff is also a serious, severe situation right now. So I have created a model with sensors and Raspberry Pi 3 Model B that can communicate with a doctor through the internet and a smartphone. So it's easier and way convenient than going to the doctor itself because of the situation. So moving forward, talking about the research background, this is my introduction where health monitoring device is very useful in today's world where we can track different varieties of diseases and like be aware of it. And so in this project, I'll be discussing about heart rate, pulse rate, heart sounds. So then I have a Pi camera which sees the status of the patient itself. So here I've used IoT, which is Internet of Things, which is a growing subject with significant social, economic, and technological implications, and which is used for with sensors, processors, and microcontrollers, with accessories used to communicate across the internet and being constitutive part of the internet. So healthcare is a basic and important component into today's world, and we can fight and eliminate different kinds of diseases altogether by knowing our heart rate, pulse rate, and heart sound. So moving forward, this is the breakdown of my project where there is Raspberry Pi 3, blood pressure, pulse rate, heart sound, Pi camera, a monitor, doctor, then internet and patient. So this is my block diagram of the system itself. And moving forward, this is my problem statement where I have talked about the problem where when we go to the hospital, we have to queue in line, and there is a severe situation right now, and people who have heart conditions have less time to actually stay in line, and emergency room is also so packed. So with this technology, we can change this impact and we can get notified on our email, and the doctors can actually get back to us through a text so that we can actually order an ambulance, or like if it is very critical, we can take the patient directly to the ICU so that we would be interactive with the doctor itself. So moving forward with the health monitoring system, which is a basic necessity in the world we're living today, when monitoring the patient's blood pressure and pulse rate, there might be error due to like accuracy. So we can take the measurement thrice to avoid that, and we can take the average of it so it avoids the error itself, and then it saves the doctor's time and even the patient's time. So as the use of internet to share data has grown, this data may contain sensitive information like the pulse rate and blood pressure. It might be sensitive. So to do that, I have made like we can protect our database through different data protection. We can use different data protection for the confidentiality, privacy, authentication, availability amongst each other, so that the information is very private amongst the doctor and the patient itself, so that no one can jeopardize the database or hack into the module. So in the hypothesis, I have discussed about that more parameters can be sensed and tracked as sensors become available as biomedical trends evolve, dramatically improving the efficiency of wireless monitoring system in the biomedical field. Then a graph of the rate of change of health parameters over time can be shown on a LCD. The entire health monitoring device that have been designed can integrate into a small concept unit the size of a mobile or wristwatch. The device can be applied in industrial, agricultural applications as well by using sensors such as like different sensors like fertility check sensors or humidity sensors and so on, where we can modify the module itself and make it amplified version of different module. Then moving forward, this is my literature review. Here I have found 5 authors different research papers, and I have divided the components in each area like title, variable studies, equipments, important findings, limitations, and research gaps and applications area. The applications area is healthcare as mentioned, and these are the equipments used and the important findings and limitations of the study. So these are the literature review of the 5 research papers. And moving forward, these are the research questions that people can ask me, like what are the requirements in getting an accurate reading? What are the possible challenges and limitations observed during the use of different kinds of heart sensor, pulse rate, blood pressure? Does the message to the doctor be sent in the exact time? And these are the research questions. And moving forward, these are my objectives, which is to implement an IoT-based patient monitoring device that monitor the heart, sound, pulse rate, and blood pressure to minimize the cost of developed system, to fulfill the requirements of the patient at home by the doctor, to create a framework that can monitor several health indicators and so on. These are my objectives, and these are the methodology, where first the pulse. So this is my methodology. So this is the flow chart where we start sensor initialization, then check the patient's health parameters like blood pressure, heart, sound, pulse rate. So this is basically the methodology. So this is the process where we check the blood pressure, heart, sound, pulse rate, then display it on the monitor and send to the server. So doctor can access the server cloud through the IP address, and patient and caretaker access to the server through the IP address. And if the blood pressure is greater than 120, an alert mail is sent to the patient, as well as it is forwarded to the doctor as immediate as possible through an application. So this is my methodology, and this is the brief discussion of my flowchart as well. So this is the Gantt chart that I have developed. So these are the basic requirements where we've completed the literature review and the current progress, future work, and this is my expected outcomes. So this depicts the package implementation for a health monitoring system. This system will display the data of the patient on the LCD screen and will store in the cloud database. Doctors will be able to access the data through the IP address. In order to attain high precision on the collected data, the patient has to monitor his or her data thrice before sending a notification to the doctor. It is also expected that an alert email will be sent to the doctor if the blood pressure reading is greater than 120. The doctor will be given an immediate feedback to the patient. Once he sees the message, all the recorded information from the patient will be stored safely in a database so that he or she can access the result at any time. So these are my references, where I've taken like 7 references, and so these are my references. And going back to the methodology, this is the methodology that I have considered, and yeah, and these are the objectives, research questions, and literature review. And hypothesis, problem statement, and my block diagram, introduction, and abstract. And these are my contents. So I have fulfilled all the criteria, where we've had to do abstract, research background, introduction, problem statement, hypothesis, research questions, literature review, objective of the research, methodology, expected results references, and this is my front cover page. And going back to the Gantt chart, here we have just finished the literature review, and we are in current progress where it's week 2, 3, and 4, where we've designed 3D design of mechanical parts and ordering components. We'll be doing that in the further notice. So, and thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much, supervisor, and thank you so much, co-supervisor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Salini. All right, Mr. Tachana.
I, good morning, Charlie. Okay. Um, First of all, thank you so much for the presentation. Okay, and the topic itself. Shalini, I have a few questions. One is two questions, and another one is something which is I need to get some clarification from your side. Okay, first thing, when you see health monitoring system IoT based Raspberry, okay, so you're using PI3, correct? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I believe that it's not cheap, expensive, correct or not? Okay, it's more than 200 plus, all right? Okay. Okay. If I see the IoT controlling patient on the area, I normally see the heart, what you call heart monitoring, for example, pressure monitoring, blood, something which is a very common one. Is there any progress that you want to emphasize, which is something new into the probably into this process? So-called like ECG something or alarm reminder or something which is not in the market. Are you in the process of implement, or you want to do as per the current one in the market, as what other already implemented?
Sir, so basically, right now it's like the FYP1 like first
Mm.
week. So I just implemented the things that were like available, but like I can modify it to the extent where I can put like ECG, and I can put like blood pressure, like sensor, pulse rate, and like different other modules, like as I grow towards it and as I do more research.
Okay, thank you. I hope that you can implement at least one, or at least one, okay, which is make some different from the current one. Okay. Okay, that's one. Another one. When I see a literature review, like something for the latest one, they use P2, and then it's more on the web oriented. Correct or not? I'm not mistaken. And you are doing more to a portable, like example, mobile. Correct? Okay, which is different from the current one. Is am I correct? Correct?
Yeah, sir.
Okay. So when you are we talking about more portable kind of mobile or something which is like it's a portable, it's a mobility wherever you are. So wherever you travel, you can trace, and then you can send over the details to the main server or to the HQ or to somewhere to the doctor. Correct. So that's different. So that part I'm interested, but also already implemented. Okay, implemented, but we cannot away from that part because that's applicable devices we have in the market. So that's one. And go back to your research objective, please. That's few phrases you need to adjust. Can I see your objective?
Sure, sir. I'll share my screen.
Yeah, please. Okay, the reason every time when we're doing a 5P presentation that all panels were emphasized on objective, because the reason you guys have to be I have to be get a clear picture. Okay, the exact phrases you need to understand, and then you can implement later. Because if you wrongly interpret and then you can't execute on the time, then it will be big issues. Okay, so that's why we are keep tracking on the objective. So when I'm looking back to your objective, I think first one, to implement an IoT based patient monitoring device and that monitor heart sound, pulse rate, and the pressure to implement. Okay, somehow okay we can take to implement or to execute or to analyze an IoT based something to measure the patient heart sound, pulse rate, and blood pressure using Raspberry Pi. Okay, something. Okay, to measure. So how are you going to measure? Is it based on the device, right? Correct or not? Based on the device, correct?
Yes, sir. It's based on the device, and the collected information is stored in a database, and then it processes. So it's
Okay.
basically processed through the Raspberry Pi.
Okay, very good. Yes, as generally objective is kind of a how we're going to see how you measure, how the student can measure. Measure means not the way of you common word. It's the measure mean how you evaluate, how you can justify. So that part we need to clarification from your side. So measure, okay, based on device, okay. To minimize the cost of developed system. I guess this part I'm not clear. Okay, to minimize the cost of the developed system. So you need to rephrase this part because it's not it's more on commercialized part, okay, commercialization, like more on market value, something to minimize the cost of development, which is you're going to develop this product and make sure I know you can reduce the the transaction or something. So this part you need to rephrase, or you might need to have to take out something, talk to your supervisor and say, okay. And to fulfill the requirement of the patient at home by the to fulfill the requirement of the patient at home by the doctor. This part also I'm not clear. What requirement, how you're going to measure on this part, okay? And then to create framework that can monitor several health indicators. So what framework you are talking? So you must emphasize on precisely what framework actually. But since you are FYP1, you are still on the reading or doing the preliminary side, probably you can keep this, but later you rephrase what specified framework you want to emphasize, okay? And then to store reading patient health in cloud database. Okay, that part okay. Something you can measure and something I can see that you store in the database. Okay, that part clear. Okay, something there's an object there and there's some reading there. That's fine. So number three, number four, and number five also. Just reconsider that part. Talk to your supervisor. Replace that part. All right. The other
Sure.
thing is other part is clear. Just my humble advice to you all that just kindly add on new feature something that makes different from current one. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tachana. Okay, Salini, I have few comment from your slide. Okay, and also to all my students. Okay, for the objective, I think you can make it three only. Okay, please make it three objective only. No need to put much objective. Okay, because we want to help you to reduce your work. All right, so just make it a clear objective of three. Okay, three components of your objective. And next, and can you move to your methodology? Methodology. No, sorry. Gantt chart. Gantt chart. Okay, guys. So, what I received from student, okay, and there is some not error, okay, just to modify a little bit your Gantt chart, especially for the weeks 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 until 14. I think this is not the correct one. You should put the months of your projects, meaning that starting from March, April, May, June, July until next year. Okay, it should consist of 14 weeks, but sorry, it should consist of 1 year planning. Okay, 1 year planning of your project. So you should put the months, not number of week. Okay, because we want to make it more clear and you should follow your Gantt chart properly. Okay, so this is the advice to all FYP1 student. So next, after you send back your report to me, okay, after this you need to do the correction. Okay, no, the correction should be submit to me, I think around after 2 weeks from this presentation. So what I want to see the revision part is the Gantt chart. So I found all of you did did not wrong, but you need to modify your Gantt chart. Okay. All right. So next, we can move to the next presenter. Suraj, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry.
Sir, very good morning to Dr. Ahmad Anwar, my supervisor, and the second supervisor, Mr. Satya Devu. My name is Suraj Ashwad Rajiv. I am the semester 7 Bachelor of Computer Engineering student, and I'll be presenting my final year project 1 research proposal, which will be modeling a security patrol robot using Arduino. Okay, so the contents would be concerning a few points, which would be the research background, which is the introduction, the problem statement, the objectives of the study, the main components, the literature review, the cost of the project, and as well as the conclusion. Okay, so in this era of globalization, technology has bestowed upon us a vibrant and huge difference in applied autonomy and the robotization field, which competes in a wide range of regions. Preliminary survey to gain information is defined as the procedure of close, precise perception or oversight kept up over an individual, gathering, and so forth, particularly one in authority or under doubt. Patrolling, however, is nothing but to keep monitoring over an area by regularly moving or traveling a route of the corresponding area. So what the robot does is it captures the images with the help of a camera. These images are then sent to the user in real time. The user will analyze it, and if there are any problems observed, then an alarm will be triggered manually. Generally, patrolling robots are mostly used in military areas, hospitals, shopping malls, restricted zones, industrial areas, and agricultural areas. So what the robot will be using is a ESP32-based camera sensor, which heavily cuts down the price of using Raspberry Pi. This in turn reduces the number of instructions and enables programming for the robot, even for anyone who has the least programming skills. The specialty of this patrolling robot is that it uses a camera to monitor its premises. It moves in a random set path because it needs to cover the whole area of the designated area. It is also equipped with a variety of sensors like a camera, ultrasonic sensors, passive infrared PIR sensors, and infrared IR sensors. So the problem statement is that Ismail R. et al. 2016 stated that the performance of infrared sensors have been limited by their poor tolerance to reflection of light, such as ambient light or objects with bright colors. No object recognition at dead zone area, for example, a sharp GP2D12 infrared distance sensor dead zone between 0 to 4 cm. So what he's trying to say is there's a dead zone area where the mentioned IR sensor was not able to capture due to the fact that there was also the ambient light as well as the area was covered in bright colors. So it caused confusion to the infrared sensor. So the infrared sensor also gives an inaccurate detection result with transparent or bright colored materials. As mentioned before, the bright colored material also causes confusion to the IR sensor regarding whether it is meant to be detected or not, as well as transparent because the light permeates through it and it cannot be seen. Detection results also depend on weather conditions, and the sensing reliability of infrared sensors decrease with moisture and humidity. Furthermore, IR sensors can sense IR radiation from the sunlight, which can cause correctable or non-correctable errors with the output. So how we could say that if it is put on in the outside area, the infrared radiation from sunlight can also cause confusion with the output and may give possibly results that can be modified or not modified. So besides that, if an analog infrared sensor is used, signal losses, which is basically the lag, will occur at the amplifier circuit. Meanwhile, passive infrared motion sensor requires a long calibration time and is sensitive to thermal radiation. Not only that, passive infrared sensor is insensitive to very slow motions and to objects in standing mode. So basically, the passive infrared sensor has a long calibration time, is sensitive to heat, is cannot really take into account very slow objects or objects that are currently stationary. So the research objectives for the said project would be to model a security patrolling robot with an upgraded capacity to alarm the user if there are any unwanted human movements in the territory that is being guarded to give an exact observable framework. So what I'm trying to say is when the intruder is detected, the user is then given the trigger, is given the real-time data, and that alarm is triggered simultaneously. My other research objective is to implement an infrared-based sensor following framework for supervision of various designated zones. So it is obviously known to many people that there are some areas where humans cannot reach by themselves, and maybe smaller autonomous robots are able to reach there. And also, it is also used to measure unnecessary collisions and possible damage to a robot. So these are what the infrared sensors and the ultrasonic sensors are used for. So what they will do is they will actually detect obstacles and avoid it or possibly stop so that there won't be any damage to the robot that can cause any unwanted problems. So the main components of the robot will be an Arduino Uno, an infrared sensor, ultrasonic sensor, an L293D motor driver shield, a servo motor, and an ESP32 camera module. So these are the literature review of the papers that I have so far collected over this period of time that have been given. Is basically covering mostly about human detection in night vision, especially in the sense that most robberies are known to happen at night. And also the way of how an intruder combat system can be created based on surveillance, as well as a smart border surveillance to prevent fence jumpers. And then there's also a surveillance and rescue robot using Arduino, a smartphone and the internet, and also an Arduino controlled warfield spy robot using night vision camera and an Android application. So these were the variables studied as well as the research design. And then the equipment, the findings that were found, the possible limitations. Currently, most of the papers do not have a research gap or a novelty of research study because at the end of the paper, most of the all of the researchers have actually found an answer to their of actually met the objectives of their paper. And the application area shows that what can the creations or the variables studied or the objects created from the research papers to be put into the real world. So this is the cost overview of the project. So which covers the TT gear motor, which is used to move the robot around, the jumper cables, the body frame, the Arduino Uno board, the rubber wheels for movement, the motor driver to also drive the robot around, an ultrasonic sensor, the infrared sensors, a battery holder, lithium-ion batteries, 2 lithium-ion batteries, and 1 ESP32 camera module. So as we know, those are all costly. But fortunately, Arduino Uno, the IDE is free and is available on the internet. So it is obviously free and there's no charges included. So conclusively, it can be said that the security patrol robot will be controlled remotely via Wi-Fi and will be able to be autonomously sent around the surveillance area for monitoring and identification of intruders via its soon-to-be developed functionalities, which honestly, I hope that it will be covered in FYP2. And hopefully in future works, the robot can be further upgraded to have an array of multiple features that enhance its usability in not only a single location, in various locations, various environments, various terrains, for it to be used generally and for the benefit of the community. So thank you very much, Dr. Anwar, Mr. Satya, for sitting through this. And if there are any other questions, I will answer them on Friday during my session. Thank you very much and have a great
All right, thank you, Suraj. So, Mr. Satya, you can start. Yes, Mr. Satya, can you start the Q&A?
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I have one simple question to the Suraj. So, at Suraj, right,
Yes.
you are thinking of implementing a security robot. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
please let me know exactly what technologies and what is your methodology to identify any acts by the humans or someone, right, that potentially violates the security. How you define this? How you are defining the security framework? How you are training your the robot, and how you are planning to recognize, okay, that particular activity from the video feed. Okay, I wanted to hear about that.
Okay, sir. So, in terms of the methodology, I would say that the robot will be given, will be fed training data in the sense that it will be provided pictures of the people who are, let's say, like we are putting this in an office setting. So,
Mhm.
the robot will be fed images of the people who are working there, and those who are not working there, it will be considered as either possible strangers or intruders. So what the robot will do is it will detect the person's the facial. It will recognize the face of the intruder, capture the image, and then send it to the handler of the robot.
That a security surveillance camera can do that.
Yes, sir. So what
Then
this?
what is why for that? Why we need a security robot for that?
Yes, sir. Okay. So, like I said, like for like I mentioned earlier in the video, the use of CCTV and all that, they cannot cover most areas where like there maybe there's a lack of
It doesn't mean like something like that. There should be no gray area.
yeah.
That's
So
what
that
my understanding. So whenever they put up this cameras, right, they try to cover all the areas with overlapping. They never
yes.
put any gray areas.
So maybe for like some sections where they are susceptible to robberies, where they potentially exploit uh, the blind spot of a CCTV camera, because as it's known that it can be hacked and also
So it's
the
basically a facial recognition system.
yes, sir, in a way. So it will recognize the
So
face,
it's
send
not
it.
recognizing any acts which are potentially violates the security, right?
No, sir. It just shows that whether this person is an intruder or not, and if the person is determined as an intruder by the user or the handler, they can manually trigger an alarm to alert that okay, there's an intruder.
Manually or automatically?
Um, Initially it's going to be manually, but I
What do you
through
mean by
further works,
manually?
like if they have like an alarm system that they can turn on by a button or something, then they can do it. I mean the handler. But if
Why we
the
want to do that manually, right? It should be automatic. If
yes,
you
sir,
detect
because
some intruder,
uh,
that alarm should go off automatically. Why you
yes,
want to put a manual intervention there?
yes, sir. The problem is if let's say the robot is not able to determine if
That
the
means you are not
person.
sure about your uh, accuracy of your robo.
Yes, sir. That's the thing, because sometimes it could be just who knows, it could be like a cleaner or something, and I don't think the office would want to. They want to trigger an alarm just because of a cleaner who just started working there. So that's why the whole reason
That
if
cleaner face will be there in the database, so that he will be recognized as an authorized person. Then
yes, sir.
why
Uh,
there is the question of right a potential wrong something like a false alarm? I don't
Yes,
understand.
sir. That's why I said, like, what if it is a person who just joined the company, like they just
No, no,
joined
no.
all that,
You are
so
right.
they want.
You are going
Yes.
to train the model, right? It's something like intense on fly. That means right online learning, right? You have to update the model. See, the brain of this robo is something like a software, right? So whenever a particular person joins into the organization, you feed that particular person pictures so that it will learn. That should be the online case.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. It is not like a bachelor, okay, batch learning. It should be online learning.
Okay, sir.
Mm.
Uh, any other questions, sir?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Satya.
No, thank you, sir.
All right. Suraj, I think you are not discussing the Gantt chart. Okay, your project methodology. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So It should be discussed in this presentation, okay?
Yes,
Even though
sir.
you already write in your report, but it is proper to discuss in this presentation. But it's
Okay.
okay, never mind. So next we move to the next presenter.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So Said, are you ready?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome. And today I am going to present about my final year project, which will be development of web online system for outcome-based education. Uh, my supervisor is Mr. Shamim. All thanks to him for helping me out through this research. This is the content of the table, the introduction, the problem statement, the objective, the methodology, and finally the conclusion. So I'm going to develop an online system for OBE. So we need first to know what is OBE. OBE is basically educational theory that base each part of an educational system around a goal. So by the end of educational experience, each student should have achieved the goal. The OBE is like a long time implemented in the world. It's like more than 4 decades already. Created and implemented worldwide by many countries such as Australia, USA, and so on. In 2008, Malaysia started practicing OBE in all its public education systems, such as school, universities, and so on, to enhance the learning and teaching quality experience. The OBE implementation system, as we know, accessing information nowadays has increased widely with the rapid growth of technology, which has opened the door for this online system to be the essential tool for any educational university to use OBE more efficiently and effectively. The online system has played a massive role by minimizing the need for hard copies, human error, human efforts, redundant data, room spaces, and also, most importantly, the time. The system will indicate the meaningful relationship between the lecturer and the system. As one of the universities that involve a diversity environment, which has a vast number of participant information resources, MIU, Manipal International University, also tends to take advantage of the use of time efficient for our system, which we will be called MOBE system version 2. The exchange of information between the lecturer and student need an effective strategy to ensure that there is no misunderstanding or lack of information that might cause a delay in the achievement of tasks later on. So MOB system V2 will mainly be focusing on the OBE implementation model only, because the old OBE structure will remain the same. We are not going to change or modify or playing with any of the structure because it's fixed. We are going only to implement, and we change the earlier practice, which toward the Excel files that the lecturers and the university depends on. And the lecturers create and keep on their laptop like through the whole semesters and the whole time for other subject, other students. They keep the Excel files for like a grade sheet and assessment work and so on and so forth. So it's like eventually will be get replaced by the online system. So the previous OBE module implementation is common practice among different lecturers, where the lecturer are facing a bit of difficulty dealing with such a system where they need to enter the data, student data in multiple levels manually over and over again and create files for that purpose. So in order to facilitate those barriers, the progress, our system, the OBEV2, will automate things and centralize things, and will be having built-in formulas that will take the responsibility of calculations, like calculating coursework, mapping BLO and CLO. So the lecturer just need to just click and give the orders like this CLO to this PLO, and that's all. So as we come to our problem statement, it is the earlier practice is very time consuming and require more workforce, as we just mentioned. It's like manually data entry and so on. Also, it might lead to unnecessary duplicated and irrelevant data in multiple files. Also, vast amount of files slowing the workflow, and sometimes it will be frustrating to deal with, especially from the lecturer side. So here, as we see, a small comparison between the earlier practice and the online system, MOB system V2. So the earlier practice, which will be heavily focused, depends on the Excel files. It is fixed and not very effective. Data enter manually. The lecturer need to enter the data manually, and it has some scope of human error. And by practicing such a system, it has it leads to have many files saved on the lecturer laptops. So by implementing and developing such system, it is very flexible and practical. I am saying flexible and practical because when we need to update the Excel files, we need to reshare them again, and we need to resend them again to all lecturers, because Excel files, when we update an Excel file, it doesn't update in the lecturer version, so it's just update in the local file. Whereas in the system, when we update something, it will be unified for all the participants, and also it will be auto-generated. So the lecturer will be entering just very minimum data required, and also that will lead to minimizing the human error very noticeably and significantly. And also, by applying such a system, there will be no need for lecturer to save some or any files on their laptop, because everything will be on the online. So our objective for developing such system is to set up a secure platform and server environment, also decrease the scope of a human error, I just mentioned before. Also develop an online system that is systematic and comfortable, and also having a very friendly user interface that the lecturer can use very in a simple way. Also to make a proper tool that facilitate the workflow for the lecturer, because our main focus for such developing a system is to facilitate and ease the work to the lecturer as much as possible. Here is the system architecture. It is just 3 tiers. So this picture describes as follows. So user enter the URL to access the website. The web browser, of course, through the web browser, the web browser will send a request to the web server to fetch an HTML page to execute, or execute a PHP script. The PHP will send the request to the web server to fetch an HTML page or execute a PHP script. The PHP script will use SQL queries to access the system database tables and send a dynamically generated HTML page back to the client browser that the user will see. So one of the reasons that for developing the system is to provide a user-friendly web environment to manage all the student assessment, coursework, BLO, CLO, achievement, and many more. So the system shall be made of the client front end and back end components. Here also, as we see in the diagram, the user can access the system through the work area, the object panel, and also in the blue rectangle, the institution module, university vision and mission. All these, the user will not like looking at it, just like he will have some idea. It will be mapping through the system. It's based on the some defines rules so that we will follow, and the user just will mapping. So for example, the lecturer will fill up the course information. After filling up the CLO and the BLO, there will be a matrix. He will just choose and indicate and link them together. And then that will fill up the assessment details, such as the assessment type, full marks, weightage, and will be displaying some graphs to visualize the data reading. And also will be some conditions like if below the condition passing up, there will be some coding, also color coding, and that's pretty much it. As a conclusion, the system will introduce a comfortable environment for managing student assessment. Also, the success of the online system will simplify the protocol and increase the performance for all the lecturers. That's all for me. Thank you very much for watching.
Okay, thank you, Said. So now I would like to call Dr. Fatima.
Okay. From my understanding of your project, so it will involve heavily on the formulas to actually calculate the outcomes when this lecturer put in the marks. Is it correct?
Yes, yes, Miss, that's correct.
Okay, so in your research objective, I don't see anything that relate to this. Okay, so your first objective is to develop an online system, and then to set up a secure platform, to make a proper tool. Where do you actually achieve this?
By making a proper tool that a lecturer doesn't need to enter a formula in Excel files, and he doesn't need to think about like the weightages of the assignment, the test, the exams. So it will be all in built-in formulas in the website. So by making that, that will include and mention about the calculation.
I see. Okay. Can you somehow rephrase this, because I don't think it reflects the outcome that you can measure whether the correctness of your output from your design, right? So let's say when a lecturer enter a marks, right? So how do you actually measure the correctness of your of whatever that your system outputs?
So, for example, Miss, like the lecturer assigned, like for this subject, we have 5 assignments. Each assignment carry some marks. So it will take from the coursework, because we agree all that the coursework will carry only 50%. So based on that, it will like assign how many marks, and the lecturer will assign for this assignment. For example, it has, for example, like 100 points and divided by something. So I just need like the weightage to be 5%, or 2%. So by indicating that, any mistake that will be like more than or less than the weightage that should be, it will be highlighted. So for example, if I assign 5 assignments for a student and I just mentioned 4, so there will be like the 5th one will be highlighted. So this is like a 0, or didn't entered. So something like that will be implemented.
Yeah, I understand that. But the for the third, so that means this will be achieved through the third objective, right? So my suggestion is to rephrase the third objective so that it can reflect the method that you use,
Sure.
and that it can be measured. Okay, so you can that means you can measure whether you can see whether the output that you give is correct compared to the Excel one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. The other one, your research question. So I've seen your research question. What does OBE focus on? Okay. How when answering this research question, how will you how it will help you in your research? Can you elaborate on that?
Uh, in order to implement like the OBE way to implement the system that we need to link the CLO and the BLOs and so on. First, I needed to understand what is OBE and what the OBE mainly focus on. So by searching about that, so I came with a good base knowledge about how to implement a way that facilitate the work for the lecturers. So first I looking for OBE, then I looking for implementing way of dealing with OBE.
Mm-hmm. Okay, understand. That's actually helps. Okay, one general. Oh, the other one. For your objective, if you can include time taken. For example, maybe a time taken for a lecturer to complete um, what putting marks for one student compared to by using your system compared to the Excel one. So that one you can
Yes, you
actually
mean like reducing the time and the effort from the lecturer side.
yeah. That should also be on your objective.
Okay.
Okay. One general comments for all students. For your reference, it's good to have a reference that is not more than 5 years. Okay, so we are now in 2021, so it should be 2016 lah, the oldest, right? So here I've seen 2008, some people I've seen 2003, so that is obsolete already, all right? So make sure that your reference should be, if better is like 3 years, but 5 years usually it can be acceptable. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Fatima. All right, so I have no question for Saeed, so we can move to the next one, the last presenter. So are you ready, Sai Shalini?
Yes, sir. Hello everyone, my name is Professor Shalini and I'm doing degree in Bachelor of Computer Science in Manipal International University. Today I would like to talk about my final year project, which is Online School Administration and Management System. Okay, as for now, the education is becoming better with the effect of internet. Like every day we are using another technology, advanced like trying to reduce work by placing it easiest way, which is electronic device. And some schools have started to use this system, but as for now, majority universities are so frequent to use this system. So as my plan, I want to upgrade the system for primary and secondary school level. And this online school function is advanced model for handling all area of school administration system, which is help to administrate a larger operation machine such as students, teachers, staff, and so on. The system is designed to locate student information in a few seconds as a note, library, books, and bring their doubts to management by complaint. And the administration will handle teachers, school staff, class, and notice as well. And students are controlled by the administrator who have the ability to appoint new students and update their record. And for teachers, can use system to look for more detail about their studies materials. Check who is in the class, the students have attended the class on right time or not, with the attendance, and see what books are available in the library, and see what notes have been they have posted in the class assessment. And student also can access study materials, the library notes which they will found for exam reference, and notice from the admin, and so on. And for above everything, this system information can be exchanged with authorized user and can be report and to generate quickly. Okay, the objectives that I found by research is about students, staff, management, and will also have the access to an online system, and of course to support in the smooth and efficient operation in this institution. By improving the process, allow all schools to function as responsive to integrate the education system. This online system will make you realize the statistical analysis of the student with the data function. To minimize the physical work, the system has been automated and made more accurate for the system to operate. Okay. The problem which I stated here by overcome this system is some school are suffering because they don't have good platform to communicating. Students, staff, teachers, administrator, and so on. And it is visible to in the discipline action keep happening in between the teachers and students. Second is the timetable management is the one of the everyday problem that faced by the admin. So the management will schedule the timetable based on the preserve and availability of the staff. The main is teachers must be notice each student's exam result in order to concentrate which subject is student's weak point, and the teachers should pay more attention to the weak student by having extra classes or helping with their personal notes. For the hypothesis, the basic idea of this system is to predetermine the outcome, to develop, to address the issue, and provide a standard academic process for students. And many problems for face as a result to process to handle and process the students' activities such as attendance, student profile, and result, and so on. Okay, so far I have searched and listed 10 literature review which is similar to the administration management system. The most important point I found is the quality and the use of information technology in education management is increased. And the management in college and universities is keeping with the training goals in coordinate with certain management concept like time and information in teaching plan as referred to each school administration system. As an advantage, the computer and internet network of storing educational information such as teaching plan, course result, student information, achievement of the students. And the teachers, administration, and the management team is use efficient teaching learning method to achieve a good quality of education and overall student development for administrators' main purpose. Okay, by looking this use case diagram, roughly can estimate the plan of the project, my project. First of all, I would like to explain about the admin's use case diagram. Once admin login to their user account, they can create for their own, and they have able to add new teachers, update their details in manage teacher section, and also it same goes to staff as well. administrator has the ability to choose the manage the course and allocate to the teachers as well. So from administration, once administrator login, they can handle the students by reviewing and insert the details about them, and also can access the students' complaint. They also ability to check the management of book like libraries book, and the main work for administrator is focus on students' activities. For teachers, they have ability to handle studies materials for students on the day, and they have the ability to view the students, whether the students are attending their class on time, and the percentage of the attendance as well. And also they have rights to look out which book is available in library regarding to their respective subject. And also teacher can access the note which is posted by the admin. For students, students can access the study material by viewing the class on time, and also students can see who their teachers on the day, who going to teach on the day, and also they can browse the library's collection book which is helping to them for exam reference, and also they have the option to file the complaint about their studies or assessment. By overall looking this project, students not compulsory to have to use their electronic device for each and everyone. Even they can find help by their parents to access it. For overall this project, that I can say the school administration software is fully integrated internet programming, which can be used and handled for all school tasks. And also it will keep track of school operation and maintain the relationship between the students, staff and management. The web is application to lead the system as fast as effective in accessing and tracking the location administration system. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sai Shalini. Okay, Miss Aparna, do you have any question?
Oh, yeah. Hi, Shalini. Can you
Hi.
just put up your slides again?
Shalini, can you
Just share your slides
share your
again.
share your slide, please?
Your idea is good, but your scope is really all over the place. So can you just put up your slides?
Miss, can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah, I can see. Can you just bring it to the research objective straight away? Okay, this also is needs to be rephrased. Too many of them, just bring it down to 2 or 3, and then there's a lot of repeat in your research objectives. To develop an online interface and then computerized and accurate system to reduce manual works. Online interface or online system automatically reduces manual works. It's just a repeat.
Okay, Miss.
And improving the system, enabling also, I think you can just, you really need to rephrase the objectives, Shalini.
Okay, Miss.
Maybe you just have a discussion with your supervisor and then rephrase it. Okay,
Okay,
maybe
Miss.
just bring it down to 2 to 3.
Okay, Miss.
Okay, so just come to the point straight away. What exactly are you providing through this system? What improvisation are you providing through this system? You have to put that in your objectives. First thing. Okay?
Okay, Miss.
Yeah. Then again, go to your previous slides, which is the introduction slide, the previous slide. Okay, so here it says aim is finding a student. So what exactly are you providing? You are providing, the functions are a bit unclear. You are providing a system to automate the administrative tasks, right?
Yes, yes, miss.
And also the lecturer can upload the material. The students can download the material. There are some notices, and then the lecturer can view the material from the library. So are you connecting to an existing library system, or you're going to develop along with the system?
I'm to connect the library system to my project, miss.
Okay, maybe you just think of the scope, because what you're trying to provide itself is quite huge. Automating the school management system.
Okay, miss.
Yeah, you just look at the scope first. And then in your abstract, I saw that you're saying intellectual, one second, your abstract needs to be rewritten. You say that the online school management system are intellectual and user friendly. What do you mean by that? Intellectual?
Uh, Let me see the slide, miss.
You have to, I think, rewrite your abstract as well.
Okay, miss.
Yeah. Again, go back to your objectives. Okay, there's one more thing. What do you mean by to realize the statistical analysis function of student information?
Which means we can be able to students by researching their notes for the class materials, so it may be easy to their access in the system.
I think this English has to be rewritten. Something is not clear there.
Okay.
It's not projecting what you're trying to say.
Okay.
Okay. So even in your use cases, I saw you have users admin and administrator. What is the difference?
Admins for overall which they can develop the system by for if anything for teachers, for class materials, or for schools or stuff like that. But for administrators, mainly for students' activities.
Okay, maybe you need to rename them also. Maybe super admin or something. You have to rename your users.
Okay, miss.
And then in your abstract, I also saw you're mentioning about the parent data. Is parent also a user?
For actually, parents is not a user. Miss for primary school, they is not more familiar to use the system. So for that time, they can find the help from their parents. So that's try to mean that.
Okay, okay, fine. So one thing you definitely need to rephrase your objectives.
Okay, miss.
And then also the sections in your proposal, the abstract as well as the introduction and the problem statement. It's all over the place. You definitely have to look into it again.
Yeah, sure, miss.
Okay, and then renaming of your users appropriately.
Okay, miss.
Okay, and narrow down your scope. It's all over the place. Just come to the exact functionality that your system is going to provide.
Okay, miss.
Yeah. Okay. That's it from me.
Thank you, miss.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay, thanks, Miss Aparna.
Yeah.
Shalini, can you open back your slide, please? Okay, all right. For this research objective, okay, just
Okay.
to comment to all my students, okay. So how to write the objective? Basically, we should put the word of to in front of the text.
Yeah.
So for the third one, improving the system is not the correct word, okay, not the
Yeah.
correct sentence for your research objective. And
Okay.
also for the number 5, computerized also is not the, I mean the way you write is wrong. Okay, you should
Yeah.
include two. Okay.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay, I think you should discuss with your supervisor regarding your objective properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That's all for the comments.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Okay, guys. Now we already come to the end of the session. So just for your reminder, you need to submit the final research proposal before or on 7th of May 2021. Okay, at 11:59 p.m. via MST. I want to advise to all my students, okay, please work with your supervisor closely, okay, to do the some modification or to do some changes of your project. So because if you not cooperate with your supervisor, meaning that you are doing your project by your own. Okay, that's mean you need to learn. Okay, you need to learn a little bit of how to write, how to develop your projects. Okay, because some of your idea is okay and some of your ideas maybe we need to polish. Okay, we need to polish or maybe we need to improve. Okay, because of I think based on my observation, and all of you can provide a very good project, but you don't know how to write. Okay, how to write properly. Okay, this is what we want to change for this FYP1. Okay, so please remember what I am saying right now. And if you have any question, you can text me. Okay, you can text me, should be no problem. Okay, any question before we end the session?
No, sir, all good.
All good. Okay, so I think that's all for today, and thanks for your cooperation. And see you. I think see you when you want to see me, or you want to what? You want to discuss something with me. All right. So thank you very much, and bye bye.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
sir.
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.